A great start. A furious finish. Not enough as the Jazz fall for the third time on this road trip. And we're talking about it next on POSTCAST.
You are Locked On Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
David Locke along with Ron Boone as the Utah Jazz fall to the Philadelphia 76ers 126-122. Jazz started this game on a 32-16. By the way, we're the radio team of the Utah Jazz. We'll break down this loss for you, give reliability pluses at the end of the night, look at some of the highlight performances and the different trends of this night, because that's really the story of the night, is the Jazz start the night on a 32-16 run that was pretty darn fabulous, and then they really just stop communicating defensively. They have a pretty miserable two-quarter stretch of defense where they allow 38 and 34 points. They allow 72 points to a team that in the last 10 games was 26 in the league offensively. And they're down 101-83 and getting run out of the gym virtually by the Delaware Bluescoats. And they then rally back in furious fashion to try to make it close late and don't have enough time. And they lose this one by the final score of 126-122. Let's look at the two stretches of good. 32-16 start, Jazz. They let it. What did they do so well in that stretch?
The pace. Pace of play in that first quarter benefited everyone on the floor for the Utah Jazz, especially Filipowski, because they were getting up and down the floor, and then even in the half court, Drummond was dropping and leaving Filipowski open. He knocked down 2 3-point shots, ended up with 12 points in that first quarter, but still it was the pace in that first quarter that got the Jazz going.
The plus-minus numbers are interesting tonight. Kyle Filipowski is plus 19 in a 4-point loss. Isaiah Collier is plus 23 in a 4-point loss tonight. Those are interesting numbers to me because I think that's symbolic. It was at the 6-minute mark when we started to make some substitution that then it got very, as Rick Higgins said to us at halftime, we lost our willingness to pass. And we lost our willingness to communicate defensively. Those were the comments he made of what went wrong in this game. And then they seemed to gain those things back. In fact, when Kyle got his 5th foul tonight, you kind of felt like if he had to check out of the game, he never got 6, that would end the rally because his presence seemed to have an impact. Jazz scoring 39 points in that fourth quarter.
Well, we've known this all season long that the Jazz are not very good in the short clock. And as Rick pointed out, they stopped passing the basketball, and as a result, they stopped playing with pace there as well. They were playing in the short clock, and all of a sudden you look up, and the Sixers end up scoring 27 points in that first quarter after really struggling early in the ballgame, early in the first quarter.
Sixers were unique tonight. They really played. The Sixers have 3-4 regular NBA players on their roster that are playing right now. And that's Yabusele was kind of in and out of the rotation, Drummond, Oubre, and Grimes. Mm-hmm. And they played Yabusele 11 minutes, Drummond 10 minutes. Oubre only played 19 tonight. Grimes did play 27, came back in the game to kind of quell it. But they played Justin Edwards, who's a two-way player, who's been with the Bluecoats most of the year for 28 minutes. Lonnie Walker for 34 minutes, who's played 9 games. Jared Butler, I think, has played 7 games with them. Adam Bona, who has played very little with them, for 31 games. Ricky Council for 20. Alex Reese, who just made his debut the other day. And Jeff Doughton for 15-11. I mean, they went deep into their G League squad tonight in who they played tonight.
And you can just tell the coach was very comfortable with what he had out there on the floor. And I'm sure he saw a lot of good things with some of the players that he was able to put out there on the floor. Big second quarter there for the Sixers, scoring 38 points in that second quarter, and that really just started to separate the two.
Kyle Filipowski continues his just remarkable shooting, 4 of 9 from 3. I spent some time before the game today with Andrew Warren, he and Mike Williams are the two coaches that worked with him. And Ron, so he talked to me about with Filipowski that they reduced movement, both once he caught the ball, he was doing a lot and body movement. So what is that like for a shooter to try to adjust those things? And what does that tell you that they've done with his shot?
You said body movement
And ball, like he was catching, taking it down, bringing it back up. They've really reduced that into some so that there's less chance of things going awry.
So what they're saying is the less movement you have, the better your mechanics are going to be. And then the fact that you set up before you catch the basketball. We watched Laurie over the years. He's already set up when the ball is on the way to the catch. And when he catches, he's ready to shoot. That eliminates a lot of movement, catching the basketball, and then got to find your pocket or whatever, that kind of thing. So he is being able to catch and shoot the basketball in rhythm without that movement that you're talking about. But the important thing is getting set up to shoot it. I'm sure sooner or later he's going to work on shooting off the dribble. Right now he's a catch and shoot player, which means those shoulders going to be square. He's not going to be sideways one way or the other and looking straight down the barrel.
Not a lot of 7-footers that shoot off the bounce. As you say that, I agree with you that that's what's next. I'm trying to think of any 7-footers that shoot off the bounce.
Well, we're working with Laurie. They're working with Laurie right now.
Right.
I mean, he's working more off the catch. Laurie is, but you're absolutely right. Not a lot for him as far as off the dribble and off the bounce here. But can Filipowski do it? I mean, he passes the basketball well, and I think he can because he passes off the dribble. And so
my guess is that his bounce game is going to be that drive. When you close out on him hard, he's going to drive you. But I'm going to guess that his threes, 90% of them are assisted.
Going to be catch and shoot.
Yeah, that would be
uncontested.
That would be kind of my guess to where he is on that. I thought KJ Martin was really good tonight, Ron. And he's not
steady.
Yeah, right. Like he just is who he is. And that must be nice for him because Philadelphia traded him at the trade deadline to the Jazz.
Yeah, he's a steady player. He's physical, rebounds well. He had 7 rebounds, 2 of them on the offensive glass in 35 minutes. And a physical, good defensive player. So he's that kind of player that you can rely on that's going to give you something valuable probably every ball game. Not a great outside shooter. If he gets his feet together, yes, he can knock those down. But you notice he goes back door. Maybe he understands the game a little bit better than some of the other players.
Yeah, he really does seem to. He's had a lot of time. He played in Houston a lot. Did a lot of time in that. Collier has 10 assists tonight, which jumps off the box score. The 7 turnovers jump off the box score as well.
Yeah, and got to pay more attention to the kind of passes that he's trying to make. Forcing passes in between 2 defenders, sometimes that's a good pass. If it gets through, it's a good pass. If not, it's not a good pass. So do you want to eliminate that from him or take away that from him? You want him to be himself. So 7 turnovers is way too many. I would say 4 for him, something like that. The way he plays would probably be normal.
I'm not trying to hammer this, but if our season's about development and where our players are, Isaiah Collier has now missed 10 straight threes. He took 1 again tonight. He took 1 the other night.
Yeah, he was 0 for 9, wasn't he?
Yeah, and so you just, I don't expect him to change this in the next 17 games. That's not fair. But he has to be a willing shooter on the outside if he's going to be – I know we're excited about him, but if you want to be excited about him, then you have to envision him also being a willing shooter. You will not get over time, if you're not willing to shoot, you actually don't get the assist numbers either because those passing lanes disappear when they're no longer guarding you because you're an unwilling shooter. So he needs to become a willing shooter out there as well. And right now, understanding he's missed 10 straight, but 0 for 1 the last 2 nights. You just go check box scores tomorrow. You're not going to see any point guards other than maybe Ja Morant, who takes less than 5 3-pointers a night.
And I guarantee you he knows it.
Yeah, no, and he knows he's missed 10 straight. No. This is a gentle comment by me, but if we're talking about the development, hey, you want to talk about the other development, we can't be on the floor allowing 72 points to the Delaware Bluecoats for 2 quarters. You have to, we've got to figure, these guys have also got to figure out how to play defense. There's a lot still to learn. There's just learning every single day right now for this team.
Yeah. are willing. He has to take those shots without
Yeah,
a doubt. Now, and I think as far as he is concerned about what percentage would be healthy for him as a point guard and have a little respect, low 30s, anywhere between 31 and 35, maybe somewhere in there, or do you want it higher?
I want the 35.
You want it higher than
No,
that?
I just don't know if you can go much lower than 35.
Yeah.
I mean, it's worth looking at. I can't imagine that there's a lot of guards in the NBA that are playing much that shoot less than 35% from three anymore.
Boy, I'm looking at some of the numbers. He shot 38%.
Guess what we're gonna do on the plane tonight?
38% in college,
We're
and
gonna do on the plane. We're gonna go look and see how many guards in the NBA are shooting less than 35% from three.
Yeah.
I, like, off the top of my head, think it's gonna be 5.
So now you're raising the bar as far as what you would consider to be an average three-point shooter. Average three-point shooter is not going to be much higher than
I think it's
30.
I think the league's shooting 37% from three.
The average.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's why we're shooting so many, because here's what's happened in the league that no one's talking about, and we'll leave on this note. This is the number one thing that nobody's talking about in the league. We have increased volume of three-point shots, and more of them are going in. Everyone vowed for decades that this would be the opposite, would be that the more you shoot threes, the percentage would go down. The opposite has happened. The concern that Adam Silver, I promise you, has about this is that if the percentage keeps going up, we actually should be shooting more and more and more and more threes. In fact, the Jazz tonight killed themselves from two. The Jazz were 18 of 46, 39% from three. They were 21 of 46 from three. From two.
They took 46 three-point shots.
Thank goodness, because they missed. We went 16 minutes. We only had 1-2 over a 16-minute period of time. We should have shot more threes. Why aren't we shooting more threes? Have a great night, everyone. I've lost my mind. I don't even shave anymore. Reliability pluses. I have 2 of them, but who do you have?
Okay.
If you're going out more than 2, you're super generous.
If I'm going more than 2?
Yeah, you're super generous.
I only had 3. I did have 3 down there.
Oh, I have 2.
I had Martin and Filipowski.
I agree.
And I thought Keontae in the second half may have, but we'll go with 2.
2 reliability pluses tonight
for
the Utah Jazz. Have a great one. See ya.